I'm just waiting for this stream to actually come on because I tried pressing play just to check because I'm never sure. This is where it won't work. I'll have to be like, what is happening?
You are live.
Okay, we're live.
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. So, welcome everyone to this CL Jolyu League game between SAS Arctic and Guys in Real Life. This is, of course, a very important game, very important, because Guys in Real Life are now just one single game away from securing first place in the league for themselves. So, today with me, I have Nikki, who will be doing some play-by-play. If you want to say hi.
Hello, that is
Um,
me.
Perfect, perfect. And we've got Oldie, who will be joining after he has coached his team through the pick ban phase, and he'll be doing some color commentary with me. Um, and we'll be going from there. And I have just realised that I forgot to post a link in the chat to say that we are live. Let me just go do that. This is, just about something has to be scuffed every single time. We can't have anything just nice and easy because that wouldn't work. That wouldn't be good.
Karia posted a link earlier saying that.
Yep,
Yeah, she did. She did.
but I'll post it with a ping on everyone. And let's put the right names in. Hold up. Yes, I do want to ping 30 plus people. There we go. Okay, and now we'll let a few more people get in. Um, Anyone who does join, I suppose, can always just see what is happening. Um, so I'll let the teams know that they can go into pick ban whenever they are ready. Feel free to start pick when ready. Okay, so they've just got a couple of people getting the last few things together. So I think something that might be quite interesting is we haven't actually seen a Jolyu um, team yet pull out the Samira. And of course, Samira's a new champion. She's extremely busted. She got, I think it was a day one patch that took 100 AD off of her ult and 100% scaling off of her ult and 70 base HP away from her.
Oh. Okay.
And for some context of just how big that is, the buff that they gave to ADCs, because everyone was complaining about them being too squishy, was about, I think it was 90 HP. So she's basically just straight up lost that and a load of damage at the same time. And people still think she's really broken. So it'll be interesting to see
She
whether either of the
is.
games, where, yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether either of the teams decide to pull out the Samira. I do know that one team has some games on it, not too many, but we will have to see. Um,
Be fair though, I think it's just Samira's abilities that are kind of broken, not just her damage. Because it's not even her ult that just.
well, it's kind of her ult.
I mean, her ult is, yeah, one of them, but honestly, her W is broken as well. Let's just admit it. Even if you try to ult her, she can just like W away. Most ADC's ults are, something
Yeah,
being thrown at you.
yeah, like for reference, she now has one of these passives that are like the new kind of ADC passive, where it's about 7 passives all squished into one because for some reason they do that now. Including for some reason she has a knock-up for whenever people are CC'd. Honestly, I think they should just get rid of that and the champion would be mostly balanced, but we'll have to see if they ever do that. The other big thing is her ult actually has a 3-second cooldown. Um, as long as you can restack it very quickly, it has a 3-second cooldown. So yeah, the Samira's basically just going to be an absolute plague to higher elo, and We'll have to see whether any of our teams think that they are proficient enough to pull her out and think they can win on her. She can, of course, be extremely strong. Um, we are just waiting for the teams to ready up. There's a few different uh, people we're just waiting for, toilet breaks and such. So, we had a brief look at the teams beforehand. Is there any particular matchups that you really want to look towards during this game, or you think people should pay attention to?
I actually think that Zoe might as well just pull out the Thresh that, they've been practicing a lot. I can see that. So if Thresh is actually left open, Zoe would probably jump at the chance to pick that out.
Yes.
And same with a Yone. If a Yone is not being banned out, of course they're gonna pick Yone. We can
And
see
here
those
we
come out.
go into Champ Select. So on the blue side, we can see we have SAS Arctic, and on the red side, we have guys in real life. Of course, neither of them has got in a game yet. If SAS Arctic want to be able to win the league, they need to win both of their games here, and then they need to win both of their games against Wakandan Adventures next week, which will tie them up for first place. Them winning both games here would also open up guys in not guys in real life, would also open up GOTR Team 1 to be able to tie that first place as well. So some big, very important games here. We see the Ziggs banned away from Preston. We do know Preston really loves to play that Ziggs in the mid lane, taking his Ignite, and we see Pyke banned away from Hostslayer. Hostslayer is a very good Pyke. Pyke can do particularly well into the squishier support champions. Um, which Zoe does tend to like to play. Graves and Trundle both banned out next, so focusing into that jungle pool for both teams, just getting away what the two junglers tend to feel most confident on, or what they really don't want to play against. Trundle's not a
Do you
ban
think
you
they're
tend to
gonna
see
ban
very
a
often.
mid laner?
Um, I wouldn't be surprised to see another mid lane ban thrown towards Preston. He has been a very strong point for the side of Girl. I also wouldn't be too surprised to see, yep, the Shen banned away from Yamato Cannon.
Hmm.
And Hecarim's banned in return. Hecarim is just an extremely strong champion right now. If you aren't on the blue side, yeah, you may want to ban it. That can be a very good thing to do.
There's the Veigar pick.
And there's the Veigar pickup straight away. Now this is interesting. Veigar is a bit of a flex pick. It could go mid, it could go bot. Who knows? Some people do also play it support, but you tend not to see that too much. Also, this is a nice scaling pick here. The Jinx is something that will just scale up into that late game. Doesn't really care if it's against a Veigar. We can just see that it'll basically just become a farm lane, and both supports will probably just run off into the river, off to help their junglers. And then we have Kayn locked in. Stinky does love to play the Kayn. We'll have to see whether he decides to go for either the red Kayn or the blue Kayn. I think it will very much depend on how many squishy versus tanky champions are locked in for the side of SAS. Red Kayn does tend to be slightly better for team fighting. Blue Kayn's more of the solo queue mentality. Nunu is just a pretty strong jungler, has a really good secure for objectives, um, does index a lot of
Definitely.
AP into this team, so I wouldn't be surprised to see, yep, there's a Pantheon locked in. Pantheon is an extremely aggressive support, if we're assuming this is support, can be played pretty much anywhere. You tend to see them go press the attack, and the reason for doing that is you can proc your press the attack level 1. Yep, if your W is empowered, then you get 3 immediate mini autos after that W, which will proc your press the attack. Morgana locked in as the counter
Okay,
to
great
the
pick.
Pantheon Veigar bot lane. Honestly, yeah, just a great pick. If you're quick enough with it, you can block the Pantheon stun, which will pretty much block all of the kill threat from this bottom lane. We just have to see how that Black Shield is used. And as it was pointed out in chat, that Veigar is a denial against Preston. I would expect to actually see more bans thrown towards him, seeing as You've now taken away basically two of his champions. I'm not sure how much actual overlap there is between the two pools. You see Caitlyn locked out, so they think that either this is not the Veigar ADC or they really want to lock SAS into picking this Veigar as their ADC. As you can see, like I said, that's another very strong mid lane champion just banned out from the side of SAS Arctic. They're just trying to make sure that there isn't some nice easy picks there for the mid lane of Girl and Ashe. So it does look like they are just indexing on the fact they think this Veigar is going mid lane.
They do have Yone still open, so as with Malzahar.
Yone is still open, yes. I think their next ban here will be very telling. So Garen is just a fairly strong top laner, quite a tanky champion that also brings more damage and a lot of shred, armor shred, which can be very good when you've got an AD heavy team, which is looking like Girl are currently drafting. I would believe that SAS Arctic aren't thinking of banning the Yone just because of how much AD damage is on the side of Girl. You can see that they lock in the Xerath just to bring themselves some more AP damage, and it's a very safe pick. If they do think this is the Veigar, it's something that can sit back while still bullying the Veigar. But it is the Fizz picked into the Xerath, so this is a potential
Oh,
kill lane here. An Assassin picked up for I Hate My Life. Um, there is a hell of a lot of AP damage on the side of SAS Arctic right now. This leaves open a potential tankier pick for the top lane of Girl, which can really punish the fact that they have pulled in so much AP damage. Because it is a Pantheon support, that is not a lot of AD damage that will be pulled in. Yeah, Pantheon support is where it's played most often. It's more surprising to see it somewhere else. And we have a dodge. I will quickly move over to our other thing while I work out exactly what happened.
I guess they
Seems
meant
like
to pick
just
someone else.
lobby glitches. I didn't actually see. Did something get locked in fifth pick there? They said it was supposed to be Renekton. Okay, and we are immediately back in again. So we'll just move back over to the screen. The team's going to try and get through this as soon as they can. It was just a little bit of a bug with the client. They were trying to lock in Renekton, but it wasn't letting them. This does sometimes tend to happen, and you do have to be a little bit careful with this. So, yep, we're just following up the same pick bans. Renekton, which is being locked in for the top lane, is another AD champion to help index their damage a bit more. It will bring that extra damage alongside the Pantheon. Pantheon on his own will bring AD early, but it means that later game you are very heavily relying on the AP damage, which is very bad if the enemy team locks in a tank. So Renekton should be able to do quite well into them. Girl, in the meantime, do still have to lock in their final pick. You can see there they're just locking in basically the champions for themselves that they're planning to play right now because they've locked in all five already, or they know all five that they were going to lock in.
Actually,
So be
not sure about Vagar being played mid or ADC. I was pretty
it is
sure it
being
was Vagar
ADC.
mid.
It's
Yeah.
like ADC. We've seen it before from auto kill. It is something that SAS Arctic do like to do. I think the Jinx, though, is a really good pick into it if you were going to pick
Mm.
something. It doesn't really have the high escape potential, but Jinx, with the extra range from her rockets and the poke that you can put down with that, should be able to lane fairly safely into the Pantheon. I would expect a cleanse to potentially be picked up by the Jinx. Yes, you have Morgana's shield, but the cleanse will just give you that extra safety for if, say, Pantheon jumps on top of you, you can just instantly cleanse flash away, and that's not the level 1 or 2 kill that a Pantheon support loves to get. So we've got the last two picks here on the side of girl. Of course, we're just looking for that top laner for them. Um, unless we're going to see something really spicy. I don't think that we will. Girl here do just need to win one more game. They decide to lock in the Jax as the pickup against the Renekton. So, the Renekton should bully out the Jax for very early levels, but as soon as Jax starts to get some levels and items under his belt, this will very quickly turn into Jax's favor.
Of
The other
course. Yeah, I pretty much agree with what you said. Early game, I do think Renekton's at an advantage, but later on, Renekton's probably just gonna go tank and probably just be the meat shield for their team fights. But Jax is definitely going to be dealing more damage later on than Renekton will be.
Yes, they've really got that side lane pressure. The thing that is slightly worrying about Girl's composition is that they don't really have a tank or reliable frontline here, and it's not like some of the other comps we've seen drafted where they have a lot of zoning CC to help pull that comp together. I would
Mm-hmm.
expect it to be a red Kayn in this case, just so they have some sort of frontline.
Yeah, I
Jax
agree.
will very much struggle to frontline into a Veigar, and if he gets locked down, that Veigar could one-shot him. Jax is not the tankiest of champions. He mostly relies on his counter-strike, stopping any auto attacks in order to keep himself alive.
Hello.
Hello, hello, welcome back.
Oh,
So, I
Hello.
think it's time to ask you, how do you think the draft went?
Amazing. This is exactly what we wanted.
Exactly what you wanted.
Well,
Perfect.
we wanted to force Preston on his journey, and we were going to run Renekton mid lane. We wanted to force it, but he went Seraph, and it was even perfect because it's exactly what I wanted our mid lane to play because of his playstyle.
Perfect,
So
perfect.
this is absolutely exactly what we want, and I am confident in my team that they're going to win this. They're going to smash it.
There is definitely a more coherent team comp on the side of SAS Arctic. And for anyone that doesn't know, we have MrOuldy here, who is the coach for SAS Arctic. He will be joining for this casting. And yeah, so we can get some insider info potentially on the team or how they saw. How do you feel about this bot lane though? They do have the Morgana into your Veigar Pantheon bot lane, which will nullify a lot of that early kill threat that your bot lane does have.
Yeah, but level 3, if Vigo gets a cage down and they get Black Shield on that one, they can focus on the other one. They've got 2 CC abilities with high damage output as well. They're not going to put themselves in a bad situation where they can only have one target.
Yep, they do have to be very careful, of course, about playing around that. The sad thing is that the level 1 to 2 kill threat is a lot lower than you would usually have, partially because you do have a Veigar as the bot laner for that Pantheon, and partially because there is the Black Shield, which can be used to just nullify Pantheon's engage almost entirely. Um, so yeah, overall, you would put the draft. Well, I think it's clear to anyone that the draft is in the favor of SAS Arctic. The main thing is going to be how Girl managed to play around the fact that they have this Jax as a side laner. If the Jax can get really far ahead, I think that's probably the main win condition for the side of Girl here. Um,
I do
also,
think SAS's draft is pretty solid, but I'm not too sure about how it would fare in late game. But I'm pretty sure in terms of objective control, it's highly, highly veered towards SAS's pick.
so late game,
So,
the draft from SAS is mainly working around the fact you have this Veigar that should be scaling
Mm.
up, should be an absolute menace towards that late game. Um, I would assume potentially when you've got the Nunu, you're also going to see a more sort of bruiser damagey build from this Renekton.
yep.
And then he will be able to provide a lot of that AD damage that is being missing from the team. So we'll have to see how that goes as we now load in towards game one between SAS Arctic and
So
Guys in Real
basically,
Life.
the thoughts between the draft on the side of Arctic, the early is where they do really well, especially in the Fizz against Seraph, Pantheon, and Renekton. it's all very good. But once it gets towards the mid to late game, Renekton's going to fall off, obviously, and so is Pantheon. But Pantheon can start building a bit more tanky rather than damage. Fizz's job is going to be assassinating the backline of Xerath or Jinx. He will still be able to do that in the late. And then we have Viger and a Nunu, who the Nunu can just front tank, and the Viger can scale up and become a very high threat in the end. If we do our comp correctly, and if they do their team correctly in the end game, in the late game, Fizz is going to be able to assassinate Xerath no matter what. Viger will be able to delete, let's say, Jax or Jinx or Kayn. And Nunu can be able to tank majority of the damage with Renekton and Pantheon just being annoying.
Yep. So obviously we can see a few things here that you don't usually tend to see. Jinx, we do have the exhaust on, so that can be very potent if used at the correct time against Vigar or Pantheon's engage. But we do see this ignite here on the Xerath from Preston. He seems to just take ignite every single time. So what do you guys think about going ignite when you are one of these long range mages for starters, and you're into an assassin? It seems a very strange pickup.
That is true. But I wouldn't expect him to pick TP, to be honest, because of his long range attacks and his long range ults. I don't see why he would need a TP.
He
but
wouldn't
I
need a
didn't think
teleport?
Ignite made it. Yeah,
But it would make more sense for him to play with a barrier.
agreed.
I would have expected
100%.
one of those two, or
Exhaust.
or even Ghost, honestly. Ghost can be amazing on a mid laner,
Yeah.
just as an extra mobility spell. So we've loaded into game here. We can see that girl are going for potentially just a classic fan out here. It looks like SAS Arctic are also going to go for the same thing. So we'll have to see how exactly this goes. There's something going on more towards this bottom lane. You can see that two of girl are actually sitting in this bush here. FfsNikki is just checking that people are paying attention. Vigar is there. Throws out a Q. Doesn't manage to get that 1 AP bonus. Vigar has started with a red trinket. Not something you get to see a lot. Now, has he noticed that that ward has gone down? Will he use his red trinket? I think FfsNikki's managed to get that ward in.
Yep. I don't think he's going to use his
Unnoticed.
red trinket this early in game,
but
to
that
be
is
honest.
1 AP for the Vigar right there. GG, go next.
I think it's something important to add as well. You have Kayn on Conqueror, so you kind of know that he's going to be focusing on this top side. Maybe the bot side with Pantheon, but I think it's going to be more focused on Yamato Cannon to try and get him ahead, like you said. Try and push him ahead to a really early start. Now,
this is aggressive.
This is very aggressive by FfsNikki, and I know what he's doing. As Kayn, there is an ability where you can, if you clear the Raptors, you can then go with your E and smite the Reds, stealing it, but he hasn't been able to do that.
He's not done it quite quick enough. The clearing power of that Nunu is very strong, but you will see now that his Raptors were taken away. Kayn can gank any lane here to get red. The only way for him to effectively get blue early, though, will be ganking this bot lane. So I think it'll be very telling where he decides to go, if he goes towards this bot lane or not. Of which form he would like.
I see some damage being traded topside already. Both Doobie and Yamato almost at the same
But Yamato gets the Conqueror. They both go for 2.
And
counter strike.
Will Yamato go down? And he
double flash. Not quite done, but is engaging the bot lane. CC chained onto the Pantheon. Yeah, I think.
You can see in terms of vision, blue team has put in quite a few deep wards already early game.
I think Yamato there could have probably got that kill in the top lane if he just stayed forwards. And there's the press, the attack procced. Host Slayer is very low. Zabatori's on no health. Does get the last water down.
Zabatori gets first blood.
So,
that's all summoners there.
Yep, that is all of the summoners out of the bot lane for the Jinx and the Pantheon, and just the ignite off of the Morgana. not going great for SAS Arctic right now. You'd
Well,
expect
at
to
the
fall a
moment, you
little bit
can see
behind.
the Nunu going into the enemy jungle right now. Looking at that Kayn, there's a teleport by Renekton. Seraph is nowhere near, and the smite
Nunu
goes on her
does get the smite away on that
smite.
buff.
Yep, 2 red buffs taken away from Kayn.
Something I realized that the Jax actually teleported
massive
to lane.
trades up here in the bot lane, and Yamato is just dead. And in the mid lane as well, as Xerath being ganked by Toxic Mouse. And that's 2 quick kills for the side of SAS Arctic. A game that was looking like was starting to get a little bit far away from them. Very quickly turns around into their favor.
Well, there's something I was about to say that the Jax actually the Jax backed a bit too early for my liking. He backed at level 2 when the Renekton was going to come back in, and he actually didn't
engage
even...
in the top lane.
There's the flash by the Kayn there.
Ooh, Stinky gets out there.
It's a level
but will Doobie go down?
Yamato build. No.
Nope, Yamato backs off
So,
there.
when Yamato at Jax was level 2, he actually teleported from the base, but he didn't teleport back with full health. He actually teleported back with about 3/4 health, or 2/3. So he actually put himself in a bit of a disadvantage health-wise, because it was just traded straight back down by Renekton in the next fight.
Yeah, we can see. Engage in the mid lane here. There's the biggest snowball ever being used. The root's going to come down onto Preston.
Preston's going to go down again.
Yep.
Ooh.
And just donated over to I Hate My Life. Won't hate it so much after getting that kill. So
this is exactly how I wanted them to play.
Yeah, they're playing aggressive early. They're getting these early kills, and it's really just going very well for the side of SAS Arctic right here. One big thing to note about what happened up in the top lane with the death that went onto Yamato Cannon, he lost out a massive wave. Ooh, but those are some tower shots there. Jax not that tanky early. Does rely entirely on that counter strike. You can see that he did pick up the cloth armor on the first back into the Renekton's longsword, which overall I would say actually does favour the Renekton just because of the sheer amount of AD scalings on both champions and the fact that Renekton does shred armor with his E.
SAS is definitely getting in a lot more deep wards than Girl is at the moment. And SAS are definitely playing their early game advantage too, like, really well.
Yep, the first dragon is an ocean dragon. We'll have to see whether Toxic Mouse decides to just try and solo this, or if he's going to go for something maybe to get a bit more pressure first. Of course, Fizz will struggle to get pressure over Xerath, who can just Q the wave from really far away. You can see that it's pushing in. Does look like he started the dragon though, as bot lane has pushed in. Hostlayer coming up to support. And that
the
should
thing
be...
to note, even though the Xerath has pushed into the lane of Fizz, Fizz is actually ahead with the kill and the assist and CS, almost just over half of what he has. And engage in the top lane as Doobie.
There's a gank coming top.
There's the ultimate coming out for Renekton.
Yamato might go down
very
here.
low.
Nope.
Doobie's level 6
Yamato does get away.
The power of the Dominus there.
Stinky goes down there.
And this top lane is just going to snowball out of control here. Yamato is very low. He could get one shot here by Doobie. It should just take an EQ. Will he go for it?
His flash is up soon, so he might be...
And there we go. Bot side. And Nunu also engages in the bot side. Does manage to pulse.
Morgana also uses Black Shield over there, so she does not have Black Shield for Jinx in case they do go in again. 4 seconds.
Flash was used to flash forwards by I Hate My Life. Alt ignites and the slap down. Preston did use ignite in return. But that's the kind of time where you would hope for something else. Oh yeah, I also got to probably at some point edit the amount of sound that comes in whenever somebody uses one of those follows or anything like that. And here we see the cage going down. A lot of damage. Actually, Girl winning that trade.
Oh, and
there's the CC chain from Girl.
But it does no damage with the Pantheon evolved E.
With Pantheon E in general, that just ends up doing no damage. The interesting thing is if you point your Pantheon E towards Morgana, her W will not actually damage you.
It's the same thing with Karthus's ult. If you just point your E towards where Karthus is on the map, you won't take any damage from his ultimate.
Yes, the general thing with Pantheon is just point it towards the enemy champion.
And then
That
you won't take any damage at all, which is insane.
beautiful. Especially for a champion that doesn't really want to be building tank, it does help
We
him
do
keep
see
alive.
Nunu coming topside
And here's
again.
another gank. Well, this is, I think, the first gank actually up top from the
In the
Nunu.
top lane,
Oh,
yeah.
DB has
and they
not needed
dive.
them. They're
What?
not going to go for that
Wait,
dive. They
that's
see
all
that Jax has used his ultimate, which gains him a load of stats.
So something I was just mentioning earlier as well, when you said about the dragon play and that Fizz was getting pushed in, even though at that point Fizz was the same level as Xerath, he did have a lead in kills and assists as well as CS. So even if there was a wave in the middle of the lane or starting to crash into his turret, if the Xerath moved, Fizz could have easily just turned, got a kill, caught out that
Oh, but there's an
Oh,
engage in the
Doobie
top
goes
lane, and
in,
he just
and Jax
one-shots that
dies.
poor Jax. Stinky does not want this fight. Yeah,
Don't know
and this
about
is
Stinky
just
going
out
in
of
there.
control now. Oh, and the flash
Oh
forwards from
no,
Doobie.
and Stinky
I feel
goes
like
down.
a football fan right now. I am so happy.
Well,
I
we
want
can
to point out
see.
this is a team that
I think
Arctic
this is
as
first tower.
part of the team as well. This is a team that
Ooh,
we have
flash
lost
from
to
Preston for the biggest snowball
about.
ever coming into the mid lane. Preston's gonna get knocked up, and you know it's
That
just a
was
friendly
first
snowball.
tower on top lane. I actually don't think that Stinky should have just gone in at that point.
Yeah,
It wasn't
So-
a fight that he should have taken at all.
So Arctic and Girl have a history of games. We have had about 8 games between each other, and in all of those 8 games, we have actually lost. Getting close in some of them, but towards the late game, Girl has always pushed towards it. And this is the actual first time that we've actually gotten ahead in the early, and I'm so happy for my team.
so you can see that there is about a 4.7k gold lead right now. So that's an absolutely massive gold lead coming to the 10-minute mark for the side of SAS Arctic. This is now pretty much their game to throw away. Toxic Mouse is actually stuck under this tower. There's the ultimate used from the Xerath and the Jinx picking up that
Ooh,
kill.
the Jinx ult
Stinky wants
lands.
this as well.
That is a force flash on Veigar.
That's a slight win. You can actually see there's the early executioners picked up by Hostlayer on this Pantheon. Wants to stop any sort of healing. Pretty strange actually. There is almost no healing on the entire enemy team. It's 2 Conquerors.
Is actually the Conqueror with Kane when he gets that red ability. That is a huge
amount of
change.
healing.
No,
And a huge
Zoe
amount of
taking a lot
healing.
of damage, and Zoe goes down.
But considering the amount, how far behind that Kane is, it's not like he'll be getting his red Kane anytime soon.
He should be getting it soon, even though he's been taken down. He's been died twice. He has been getting a few sort of very little and often pokes against Renekton in the top lane. Like when he went up there and used the W, he still gets those souls during that time. So it's
Yeah,
still
he
to a
does.
point where he is getting those red souls for that to come alive.
It's not the worst thing ever, but you do have to be a little bit careful with it.
Mountain Soul.
Looks like we're gonna be a Mountain Soul. That's a really nice soul. You love to have a Mountain Soul.
Oh,
You just love to get some Mountain Drakes. Nice chompers there from the Jinx to just stop that engage.
that was also a
There
flash
was
from
the
Jinx.
flash from the Jinx as well.
Yep,
There's Troll Zoe getting out of that.
they've definitely
walking
spotted
away.
Troll Zoe with all the wards.
Yeah,
I would say, just for
So-
Gavin's side, I don't like the Morgana pickup of the Moby boots, as he's kind of been pushed into their own lane. There's no real roaming potential.
I was not mentioning that. Specifically, I did notice you put the W down and severely slowed down. But yeah, so that's an interesting first pickup. I'd like to see a bit more roaming from Troll Zoe then, considering this has been picked up. Roots will not stop Herald from trying to charge. There's not much you
We
can
do
to
see
stop Herald
Stinky
from trying
coming
to
down
charge.
though, but Stinky misses the knockup.
Ooh, nice shield
Oh.
from Morgana.
There's the ultimate by Kane, Seraph ultimate coming in as well.
They do pick up one kill, the teleport in here from
is
DB.
there as well.
The Ignite is down on him, as well as the No, there wasn't. Yeah, the Exhaust there was
The
also used on the
exhaust was
Renekton,
down
which
as
was
well.
absolutely clutch. for keeping the rest of the team alive. Girl are actually turning this fight. The stun
was a
onto
lot of gold
Yamato,
going
but he
to
doesn't take
onto-
any damage.
Fizz
This is-
going onto Morgana, just killing that Morgana, getting a double kill on the side on Fizz, making him even more
overall,
scarier.
A little bit of a
think that was a
disaster
win.
there, realistically, for the side of SAS. You give
That
over
is
quite a few
true.
bounties, and most of them all went onto that Jinx. It
Mhm.
will now pretty much come down to, are you able to kill this Jinx in the team fight? And that's a Jinx
Towards
who's
the
going to
late
have a
game-
black shield. That's a Jinx who will have an exhaust. But here's Preston just sticking around way too long.
Giving the
Nice.
kill over to Viger, that's the perfect thing what they need to do right now. Getting that Viger ahead, apart from putting another kill on the Fizz, who's already 4-0.
A nice juggling of the tower aggro there. Just Fizz starting by picking it up, using the E. Playful trickster to just get out of that. So this gold lead, we're still on about 4.7k in this next 5 minutes. SAS has not managed to actually increase the gold lead, but they have taken one extra Drake, so they can work towards that Drake win condition. Looks like Renekton
So we're
is
taking
deciding
quite
to
a lot
build
of damage
towards a
from minions.
Triforce, something you don't actually often see on Renekton, but it's of course very good if you do manage to pick it up. He does already have the Bork, so very far ahead of this Jax. Jax cannot lane into him, and this could be a big problem.
Just trying to farm up at this
The
point. He's
Fizz
just
at this
really
point
just
has
trying to
also
farm up.
just gotten 9 out of 10
Oh.
stats on the Dark Seal,
Oh
The
dear.
picking
Jax
up
is
the last
definitely
one
gonna go
hit.
down to Fizz right here, top lane.
Yep, and we just see there that yeah, Jax at the moment he's a glorified cannon minion. Well, actually not even a cannon. He's a glorified melee minion.
Caster.
No, Caster's are ranged.
He's a slightly less affied scuttle crab.
He's a super minion, that's what he is.
He's a super minion.
Exactly.
And super minions can still kill a weak support.
Oh, I don't know. He can fight the Pantheon right now if he uses his skills well. Because he can entirely block the Pantheon's empowered W, which is where a lot of that damage will come from with the press the attack. You get that press the attack proc early. The double flashes both being used there by
Ooh.
Preston and Hostlayer. I hate my life is going
Preston
under
going
that tower.
down again.
That is one picked up in return though. Red Cane has
misses that
been
ult.
picked
The
up
Jinx
by
ult
Stinky.
misses.
Auto kill is very low. Yamato Cannon coming in, picking up that kill. And there we go. Girl coming
Is this
back
the
into this
turnaround?
game. They have lowered the gold advantage down to just about 4k now. Yeah, no, small wins. You'll take what you can get. This Jax still will not be able to lane into Renekton. No one can really lane into the Renekton at this point. You're just pretty much hoping that Jinx can use the range.
So that
Take
is
it
actually 2 heralds gone onto the side of SAS as well.
Yes, we'll have to see how they decide to use this. Something that I do think is quite interesting to see is the triple red trinket from the side of SAS. So they are really wanting to compound on this vision. The Drake has now spawned. Girl are posturing around it. All 5 of them are here. SAS, you can see, is moving up to position. They are a bit late here on the positioning. I hate my life just using the pressure of the fact that he is so strong to move in on the top side. He does have the flank position here. Preston and Trollzeri are a bit far out. The knockup does go down onto Preston. That's the 5-man engage,
That
but
is
they're
a
all taunted.
lot of ults
There's a jump
coming
into
out.
the back line. Stinky is doing what he can. He does pick up one on the back line. Hate my life. And Toxic Mouse are just going to run. Trollzeri down here.
Oh, we're definitely going down
That's picked
there.
up, and we can see Doobie trying to run down Stinky and Zabatore on the post side, but they will not be
But
able
they
to.
do get out from
That
that.
is
Overall.
still only 1 kill for 3 and a dragon going onto the side
Yep.
of Arctic.
A 3 for
Yep.
1 for the side of Arctic, and they pick up this Mountain Drake as their reward. Jinx has now finished her Infinity Edge. Nice
Ooh.
attempt, but nothing
Late
there.
ult.
Yep. What I was going to say is the
I think you
3
could be getting killed
Oh.
here, though, with the Nunu coming in.
he is a little far out of position, but they don't have their Executioners calling here right now. There's a lot of healing that will be
Oh,
poked up
That's
by
a
the
flash,
cane.
and nope.
Does
Stinky
have
gets
to
out.
use the ultimate and the flash to escape there.
And Fizz is out
That's
anyway.
very, very nice camera. Yes, I would prefer to see the Xerath ulting rather than where he's ulting to. Thank you very much. That was beautiful. Doobie has found Yamato Cannon in the jungle here, and, you know, just picks up that Grump. Thanks for the leash, and I'll take that.
So it is worth to note that actually Doobie has nearly got 100 CS lead into that Jax.
Yep, he has almost Flame Horizoned him. Of course, Jax has not even finished a single item yet. You can see he started building towards something else rather than finishing that Bork. I think that was the wrong
Looks like
idea.
he's going for the Triforce at this point. He's started to build the double daggers to get the Stinger, and I think he's going to go for that Triforce.
I think he was going for the Bork because he picked up the Cutlass, double dagger, and then suddenly he got a Phage. So it seems like he's decided to swap partway through. I don't like that. He just needs an item right now. He needs the Bork. Bork will give
Could
him
be
the most
looking
use
towards a
at the
black
moment.
cleaver.
Cleaver should probably be the second item that he picks up.
Yeah.
I'll be quite interested to see. It looks like Pantheon's going Cleaver a second. Cleaver, of course, is great with Pantheon. Your E procs Cleaver multiple times. Your W procs Cleaver multiple times. It's a great item.
Renekton's heading bot side towards Jax. Does
They-
not to see him.
Do break
Yep.
this outer cannon. That is the Bork used just for the extra slow. Yamato does get the stun, but Doobie should
Doobie
just
does
be
catch
able to
up.
slowly run him down.
Oh.
Let's jump in by Pantheon.
And
Pantheon
Saboteur is
comes
going to get
in.
picked up by the
Meantime,
Fizz.
Saboteur was
And
just
auto
in the
kill.
jungle.
There is the Nunu that comes in there as well. I think Yamato might go down.
Let's go. Uses the
Nope.
slows.
He gets out.
And Fizz coming up to take on that kill of that Morgana.
Oh, that's a flash.
Eventually. There we
Not
go.
eventually.
And now it's just the 1v1 between I Hate My Life and Stinky, but Stinky has the big health
Stinky.
advantage, and he picks up
Yep.
that shutdown gold. That's a lot of shutdown gold. Meanwhile, three players on the side of SAS are just pushing in this bottom lane tower, doing what they can. Hostlayer is very low here, does use the E. Doobie is also extremely low. That tower does not fall, and Girl do manage to defend that inner tower.
Morgana ult did come out topside as well. For like a good 0.1 second.
So, in case people are wondering where the gold lead is in this game, it's about a 5k gold lead for the Renekton over the Jax, almost doubling him in gold, actually. There's about 1k for the Kayn on the side of Girl, and there's about 700 for the Jinx on the side of Girl. Meanwhile, Fizz is also sitting at just under 2,000 gold lead. So most of that lead is held within the Renekton, so we'll have to see how they can really use this Renekton to put themselves ahead. He is that side lane threat right now, but
So it looks like Renekton's actually going to be picking up the Death
Death
Dance.
Dance,
Wow.
which is all expected. Death Dance, an amazing item, especially for these bruiser types that have their own inbuilt lifesteal to go along with the lifesteal that they get from Death Dance.
It would be nice to see him picking up just an Executioner's Calling as well, just against that side of Kayn. As you can see that Kayn's health does go up quite a lot when he uses his ultimate because of his Rust passive.
Yep, I can see where the Death Dance is being picked up, though you do have the Executioners already on the Pantheon, and the Death Dance will keep you alive. It's not like the healing is going to keep the Jax alive against
Bush.
you yet.
Death Bush.
Ooh,
We see 3 people camping
Death
in
Bush.
that bush.
They see Troll Zoe coming in,
Oh.
and there's the engage.
Oh.
Black Shield was late,
Zoe goes down.
and that's 1 kill picked up early, but Toxic Mouse is very low on the backside here. Zabutor is getting those rockets down. That's the ultimate use. They pick up 1, they pick up 2. Stinky getting 1 on the
Doobie's
backside.
coming
Doobie's in
in.
here. He exhausted
It's
is
Will
used
Doobie
Doobie go
onto
down
him.
there? Will Doobie get out?
Doobie does get
And
out.
Doobie does get out.
Doobie doobie doo.
Oh, Pantheon takes
That's a new one.
good damage.
Doobie does.
It Doobie like that.
Does Doobie do? Yes, Doobie do. And then we can see Doobie and Hostlayer not quite wanting to fight that. Girl thought that they were death pushing, but they did not. SAS thought they were death pushing, but they did not expect the entirety of Girl to be running up all at once.
Dragon
And
comes
Girl
out.
will pick up this Drake in return.
Potentially.
Vigon
You
might
do
try and
still
steal
have
it.
that
This
fight.
is the
don't
soul
think he's
point
gonna be
for
able to.
SAS. That does put an extra 5 minutes before the soul is picked up and does buy Girl a little bit of time. And that's exactly what they need right now. They need time. You can see that Jax is still working towards getting that Bork first. Um, the Phage was, I guess, just for the extra move speed after hitting someone. He finally picks up that Bork. He still can't lane into Renekton. That has to be pointed out. But he is now a threat on this side lane towards towers at the very least. He will be able to do quite a lot of damage.
Renekton trying to converge on this Morgana.
SAS
But she does get away.
are just moving. You can see the 3 champions moving together to get this vision down. Ooh, but Girl might be wanting an engage here. Stinky's not quite sure. They go onto Host Slayer. E is used to keep him alive. He eats a lot of skill shots. That is the Jinx ultimate and the Kayn ultimate, both used to pick up the support of SAS Arctic. So that's probably delayed the Baron as well for SAS. They could, of course, fight this. They don't need the Pantheon. Root goes down onto Stinky. But not much being picked up there, really. Yeah, I honestly think...
push at this point.
I don't think Doobie should be here with the team. I think he should just be split pushing. Because he can force at least 2 people to come to him or start taking towers.
Doobie is heading bot side. Over to Jax once again.
Oh, but I'm not sure that SAS want this. Also kill force the
Oh.
flash.
Stinky tries to go in for some damage, but comes back out again.
Doobie did not know that Yamato was just sitting in that bush, or decides he doesn't want a fight. I think it's more likely he just didn't know. I Hate My Life was pushing in that top wave. They're just trading waves right now, which is overall a good thing for Girl. Oh, okay, they take the engage on the bot side, but there is the power of the counter-strike. Keeps him alive. Host Slayer and Doobie could tower dive here very easily, but they will take this tower.
They are looking for
They
Stinky
notice
right
Stinky.
now. So here's Doobie
If they
going
get
on
him, they will turn
Here
towards
is-
Baron here. Jinx ultimate was used. That's a lot of healing.
Oh.
Still on the Kayn. He's still healing up.
Stinky's-
He's still alive.
oh,
Flashes
Stinky
away.
got but
The ultimate
Stinky
is
dies
used to
there.
try and pick up the Renekton on the backside. The camera, for some reason, still loves to watch Xerath as he's ulting.
It's a very hard sight not to watch, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. See the Arcade Man spread himself, throw out his shots. Yeah.
Gavin, you should probably stop that before you
we
get
terms. Yeah. Yep, Renekton is still pressuring this bottom lane. I think at this point you'd prefer him to be pressuring the top lane if possible, but that's entirely fine. He is on the opposite side of the map to the next objective that really wants to be looked at, which is that Baron. Honestly, I think SAS should have turned towards this Baron a long time ago. Yes, there is the Kayn, and yes, he does have an extra level on the Smite, but assuming that your Nunu has maxed his Q, which usually you do outsmite just with your Q at the moment. You will do more damage than Kayn Smite. So there is no real reason why they haven't turned towards this Baron. They're maybe just not too confident in their abilities to take it, or the fact that Girl might come and contest it.
At this point, you've got Fizz, Pantheon, and Renekton who are very good at picking out a champion.
They don't have the quickest Baron, that is true.
They don't have the quickest Baron, as also the side of Girl actually has a stronger team fight as a 5v5 right now. The reason why a lot of them has been winning is because Jax has been forced into a different lane to come back into this game, as he hasn't been able to do anything in the team fights as much as the Kayn.
Interesting point. Pantheon picked up a Knight's Vow, and he's Knight's Vowed up to Doobie on this Renekton. They could see Yamato Cannon pushing in this bot lane. But they're not going to go for this. I thought they were for sure that Pantheon was going to ult in there behind, and they were going to just try and pick up this kill. Yes, they do need to split more. Although they are technically splitting right now, they're not actually pressuring anything. Doobie here could be a bit caught out. The Ghost has picked up Stinky, so he knows he's in a 1v3 at the moment,
Doobie
but he's going to take
in.
up...
Preston going to go down there.
Preston's
Oh,
extremely
no,
low.
But
No one's picked him up yet, and then he finally gets picked up. But Doobie is also down in return, and that's where most of the gold is for the side of SAS. They picked up 2 now, and Stinky will get out. Stinky currently holding most of the gold for the side of Girl, as well as Jinx. Fizz, in the meanwhile, is in top lane. I'm not sure where he is going. He's deciding to back rather than pushing, despite him knowing where the entire enemy team is. He should be taking that tower.
Dragon is up here as well, though, so he could be looking towards that dragon pathing, especially as he needs to be there to shut down
Binding
Saboteur.
doesn't land. But they are kind of forcing SAS out of that dragon.
Don't think it's the. I think honestly they don't need Fizz to be here. Nunu can just flash the wall and consume with Smite to steal it very easily. Are they even going to get there in time? They don't get there in time though, and that's a second Drake for the side of Girl. Nunu ult is used, that's one.
Doobie ulting as well.
But
Doobie's
a
already
nice
in.
ultimate from I Hate My Life takes out the Jinx on the backside, and we can see there we get to show Xerath using that final shot of the ultimate, which we did see land and miss. Stinky is sitting in this
Does
bush. He's
Stinky
maybe
get out?
looking for an assassination here.
Oh.
He's not trying to back. Oh, and he sees Hostlayer. There is the stun used, the ultimate out from the Kayn. The hose
Fizz and
misses,
Jax are coming
Is
on
coming
side.
down. There's Jax.
but
as
Jax was
well.
already there. And Doobie, meanwhile, is just pushing in this mid lane. This is what we wanted them to do. This is the kind of splitting. Just have Doobie continually pressure one of these lanes, taking the towers, while everyone else is going to other things. It is very bad for the side of SAS right now. That girl is getting these mountain drakes. That makes them incredibly harder for the side of SAS to actually just burst down one of these champions. The Fizz ultimate just chops out the back half of that wave. Doesn't look like he's really feeling himself into the Jax. Jax is starting to get strong. He's almost finished that Triforce. SAS will need to actually try and close out this game soon. They can't keep hanging around like this. Like I've said, I don't know why they haven't started the Baron yet. You do have a Bork Renekton as well. He can definitely put a lot of damage down onto this Baron. You do have the bleed from Fizz. Sure, they don't have an ADC. It's never going to be the quickest Baron ever. But Nunu is great for Barons. He's great. He's great for objectives. You have the objective. Just chuck a ward in there. Chuck a control ward in there. Force Girl to come to you. They can even have Fizz sitting in a bush.
They have spotted Morgana there. They may be thinking of having
Ooh, but they catch
a
out
mid
Stinky.
lane now.
But Stinky has those Merc Treads and is able to just walk away. That was a very quick escape from that Vigar cage, actually. I do wonder. No, there is that. It was a max mostly towards the W second on the Vigar, indexing more towards that damage rather than the added stun time on the cage, which I think is quite interesting. Very interesting point. Not so sure about that one. Doobie's still pushing up that side wave. Stinky fancies his chances because he knows the rest of his team is coming here.
Ooh.
But as he
Ooh,
just
Stinky taking
not
a
thought
lot
about the
of
extra damage, Hostlayer is now here to back up his Renekton. Zoe is down almost
Zoe
instantly.
goes down.
Stinky is
Stinky's
very
also
low,
taking a lot of damage,
but he does manage to take out the
but
Renekton. Saboteur. Oh, he does
Saboteur
manage to
gets
take
out.
out.
There's the teleport by the
Pantheon.
Vigar as well. Vigar is coming over here to go and get that
And
cage.
they
Jax
will
is
pick.
teleporting here. Jax is
There we go.
half
You see
health.
the
The
attack.
teleport is
Jax
Oh,
coming in,
no.
but
Boy.
oh, he's picked up. And please, they gotta start the
There is
Baron
the
now.
Baron.
They gotta start the Baron. And
If
we
they
do
go
see
for the
them.
Baron, they need to run straight down to that mid lane and need to push this mid lane hard.
It is their choice here. They could go shove that mid lane instantly, try and get the tower before they back, or they could just choose to take their backs, spend the bit of gold that they picked up during that, and then push afterwards. We'll see which one they decide to do. It looks like they're going to go for the backs. They're not actually syncing up their backs here. This is quite bad if Vigar decides to stick around and then backs partway through the Baron push.
I think Jax should have cancelled that TP at that time.
So the interesting thing will be how they decide to split, whether they decide to put Fizz or Pantheon on the second side wave. Obviously, you put Renekton on one of them. But you could have either person on the other side wave. Nice binding there from the Morgana. And we can see that's the Umbral Glaive finally picked up by the Pantheon. This is what I was really expecting him to go first because of the amount of vision it denies and just the fact you basically... It's ridiculous how good this item is. You essentially always have Red Trinket on as long as the cooldown is up because it only procs when you have a ward near you, and it will tell you that there's a ward near you. So it's like always having a red trinket on. Ooh, it looks like they might catch out Stinky here. I hate my life. Takes some damage in return. That's a lot of damage.
Stinky ult.
The attempted dodge
Tempting to
there,
get
but
out.
he does not get out. I hate my life. It's taking
Oh.
him very low as well as Host Slayer. Stinky is just 1v2ing. Dodging to the side. Stinky is a little bit out of position, but he just waits for the rest of his team to get there, and that's the
Oh,
break down
but
onto
Stinky
Nunu.
does
Toxic Mouse is in a
do
bit of
lot
trouble.
Damage right there.
He can get out. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Doobie.
Doobie finds Yamato, having to use that Counter-Strike to escape, but Yamato is forced to ult and flash to get out of that one from underneath his own tower. Doobie takes half health in return. Oh, but that's
Oh.
another Drake over to
Come
the side
on.
of Girl. And this is not great.
Yamato might go down here if Doobie decides to go in.
Doobie's just going to keep him. Hopefully, he just carries him pushing up this lane.
Yeah,
They
but
can
look,
start
the
pushing. They can
rest
shove.
of SAS are not shoving. It's just Doobie. They really need to sync up their shoves here.
Yeah, they do.
Try and do it together, and realistically have someone on that side wave. Have someone on the third wave as well. You want to split up the side of Girl as much as possible. They thrive mostly
He goes
in these fights. They
The
get the
binding
pick
hits.
onto Toxic Mouse, but there's the ultimate on the back half
Shield.
onto Preston. Oh, but most of I Hate My Life's items are missed
No
and
damage.
used. Doobie is also
Veigar
here,
ult comes
but
out, but doesn't deal as much damage as expected.
Not onto him, as he has got the Spirit Visage right now, and he's also going into the Death Dance as well as Merc Tread. So the damage coming out from the Veigar onto that that Kane isn't going to do much until he gets Void Staff,
yeah.
which I think he could be getting soonish.
So
Meanwhile, Fizz pushing out bot lane. Doobie
this is
also
what we wanted
pushing
to
out
see.
top.
1-3-1 from the side of SAS, and when you don't know where the enemy team is and you don't have the wards in, you just
Oh,
play a
and
little
they
bit
try to
safer.
go
They
in
call
on
out
Doobie.
Little bit
Doobie
of
does
damage
get out.
taken there. Meanwhile, Fizz is actually pushing up this bot lane. We can see he's almost taken the tower already. The ult is used from Xerath just to try and clear out that wave, but he won't be able to clear it in time. This is essentially how they should be playing. If they push in all three lanes at once, they can take lots of towers. I'll have to see how this is done. The Baron has worn off, so they managed to get a few towers from it. We'll have to see exactly how this goes. They might wait for this last Drake to come up in just about 3 minutes time. We'll have to see if either team decides they want to go for this second Baron. We do have both teleports will be up in time from the top laners of both sides. So I have to see how they decide to play those side waves. Renekton is now almost at his full build. I expect him maybe to be picking up a Deadman's as that final pick. And in which case, no, he does go for the Randuin's Omen. He thinks that the crit damage coming out from the Jinx is what's really screwing him right now. It does also provide just a hell of a lot of armor, which is really nice to have. The highest armor damage.
So
rating.
he's gonna
Ooh,
get
so he's
kicked
caught
out
out
here.
there.
Caught out there. Oh.
Nunu is
Walking.
there as well.
Yeah, walking into the jungle as your own, on your own as Morgana, when there's a Pantheon, when there's a Fizz,
Pantheon,
or
please
even when
clear
there's a
that wall.
Veigar and a Renekton. It's not what you want, but the engage comes through here from Girl.
Yamato
Renekton is
goes
on the bottom
in.
side. This is not a fight that SAS really want to take right now. That's 2 down already.
Renekton isn't there either.
Yeah, Renekton's deciding not to teleport in. I think that was the right decision. That was a bad fight for the side of SAS.
Veigar
even
does
with him
not
there.
have ult right now.
Renekton is going for this inhibitor.
And you should be able to pick it up in return, and that will create a lot of pressure on the map for the side of SAS, which will be very good for them.
No one's actually contesting it.
Yeah, they sent Preston back to try and do what he could, but all he can really do is clear the wave. Meanwhile, Zabator is just pushing up this mid lane. Blue buff on auto kill, he will get enough mana back here for some sort of combo. But with the Jinx passive,
Renekton
getting
looking-
crazy and running away.
Renekton is pathing towards that.
So, both objectives coming up very soon. This Baron is, of course, spawning first. There's the TP in from
Teleport coming
Jax.
up.
It looks like Girl do want to fight around this objective. Or they're just going to
At
try
this
and burst
point,
it straight down.
Doobie, just teleport to the top, teleport to the bot lane. That is what I need. Teleport to that bot lane.
It looks
Push
like
out
they
that bot
might
lane.
try and go for some sort of ending here. Pantheon
They
jumping
can
into
easily
the
go for
pit.
this ending.
Doobie
And the
is going to push
Baron
out the
is
base
secured
quite
by
a bit.
Girl. They're just trying to interrupt the backs right now, but 2 backs will be got off by the side of Girl. It is the Xerath, it is the Kayn. Doobie does get one of the Nexus towers there. Looks like he's decided he wants to fight this actually. He goes in
He
for a little
beats
bit of
that
damage,
Kayn.
use the Randuin's.
He actually beats that Kayn in a
Ultimate
1v1.
from Stinky. Picks back a lot of health back up. You do have to be worried
This
about
dragon's
that
coming
healing.
up in 5 seconds. They do not have their top lane, teleport, but ADC or support. They can easily go for this dragon and get that soul. Push
But
that mid
here
lane.
is 3 pushing in. Toxic Mouse a little bit out of position here, just dodging around, not getting picked up by anything. Gonna use the biggest snowball ever just to get towards this Drake in time to try and pick it up. Both side of
They can
SAS.
pick up this
and
dragon.
After being 3 Drakes up to 0, SAS are finally going to pick up that soul, 4 Drakes to 3.
This
That
now
could have
opens
been-
up the possibility of an Elder, though.
At this point, one team was going to get it. And yeah, Elder will be definitely a game-defining moment if SAS can't close out this game before that Elder spawns.
In that fight in the bot lane, Doobie was actually beating, Renekton was actually beating that Kayn in that fight. The Kayn was actually half health, used the ultimate, and got his health back. But you still got to think, if it was just that single 1v1, he still has that Guardian Angel. And there's no...
It's
does
a little
get
bit
through.
hard to wonder because a lot of Renekton's healing would have been cut out by that Grievous Wounds, what was the
Yeah.
item called? By the Mortal Reminder on the Kayn.
But
Meanwhile, there
with
is
him
no...
running that Ninja Tabai and also that Randuin's Omen, that a lot of damage is being neglected.
Yep, but you gotta remember that also a lot of his armor is being shred by the Cleaver from the Kayn, and that there is also no...
Oh,
Grievous
they're going
wounds.
in on Doobie again, but nope.
Nope,
Back out.
So this is exactly what they need. Doobie is looking for a push. They're going to go onto that Doobie. Fizz is pushing up the top lane. They're pushing up
Salvatore
the mid
is
lane.
also here. Does have to be careful that Doobie doesn't get on top of him.
There's
But
Kane's
meanwhile,
in the
there's
mid
the
lane with
push in
Morgana.
the mid lane. Kane does get the knock up onto Autokill. Autokill a bit caught out here. Meanwhile, in the top lane, I Hate My Life is just
Fizz,
solo
oh,
killing Preston underneath
Preston
his
goes down
own
again.
tower. This is
Doobie just pushing up the bot lane as now Salvatore has just left him. He's being stunned there. There's
this
the
is
ultimate
great
coming out.
kiting
Not
in the
killing,
mid lane,
but-
keeping the Vigar alive. But unfortunately, they don't really get too much from it. There is that solo kill that went onto Fizz in the top lane, but he'd not really managed to push down that tower at all. And will just jump out with his life. So overall, we just end up with a 1-for-1 there. Nothing much really happens.
That Viger looks like he is building towards a Void Staff now, so he should start getting damage.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. The final few items for both teams are starting to be picked up. This is a game that has lasted over 40 minutes, one of the longest games you're likely to see. That goal difference not really making much of a difference at all now, because teams are picking up those final items. It's really, you can't actually tell who is getting the best deal, because a lot of the gold will be left unspent. In fact, if we go to X, we can see Renekton is now sitting on 1,000 gold that he cannot spend. He is full build. Nothing he can spend it on. On the other side, Salvatore also is full build with 1,300 gold, not able to spend. So right now you're just looking at the items on both teams to tell which one is realistically in the lead where they want to be. I do think the Knight's Vow pickup from Hostlayer was very strange. You don't tend to see the Knight's Vow being picked up on the Pantheon. I think I would have preferred to just see that Executioner's upgraded so that he got the extra bit of armor penetration, or even a tank, a proper tank item
Oh,
just to help keep himself alive. But here we go. I Hate My
King
Life
goes
really
in.
out of position here, using
Doobie
the
needs to
Zhonya's,
get
but he's
out
gonna
of
get
there.
chompers.
He can get out for sure. Oh, nope.
No,
He
he's
does.
stuck in the chompers there.
Xerath.
Nice CC layering. If you Zhonya's with a Jinx around, she will just throw down the chompers. They will bite your ankles and you'll be stuck there.
So one thing to just point out here is if they push these lanes effectively, the side of girls going to have to be forced to either protect their bot lane and their top lane or go for that Baron play. And if they go for that Baron play, they can easily have the double teleport to the bot lane with Viger and Renekton pushing into that final tower, just destroying the Nexus in the base.
Yeah, you do have to be very careful. There is a little bit of a grace period on the side of Girl. They do now have that inhibitor back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yamato Cannon, feeling that he can definitely 1v1 Toxic Mouse, is just getting that extra little bit of damage down. Some nice CC from Toxic Mouse. Keeps him in place under the tower. Waterkill just going to be picking up that blue buff. So, both teams are sort of slowed down. We're going to go back to this Dragon and Baron coming back up. Baron, is spawning about 50 seconds before Dragon does. So we'll have to see whether the teams move towards
Think
Baron.
he might get
or
caught
not.
out there.
Stinky is in a bit of a precarious spot, but Morgana is pretty close. Does manage to just walk out of that one. The Baron is spawning now in 12 seconds. If they know, they can see his backing. They should just let him back here. And now they should just turn towards Baron. They're going to turn immediately towards the Baron. Try and get this bursted down before the side of Girl can really get here. And before Kane can get back into this fight.
Renekton's coming in behind Zabatore right now. Zabatore is...
Renekton has just walked into this fight as well. That's no TB used. He flashes over.
Straight in. There's a
Chompers.
teleport coming.
That's one
Zoe's
down.
gone.
Zabatore is very
Kane's
low.
to catch up again.
They're on
Zabatore
top of him.
actually is gonna
Does manage
picked
to get
up.
out, but no flash forward from I Hate My Life picks that up. Which side was the Baron picked up? Well, Kane does manage to get the steal onto it. Doobie is extremely low. Yamato Cannon is now outputting a lot of damage. I Hate My Life also on about 300 health. Kane is just destroying on the backside of this fight now. And there's another kill picked up for the side of Girl. They're just knocking down
Doobie dies
one by
right
one.
there.
There's only two left on the side of SAS, the jungler and the support. Absolute disaster
Toxic
for them
Mouse
losing
is
that
a
Baron
little
there.
low.
It looks like they're just going to try and run down Nunu so that they can secure
I
themselves.
definitely think Stinky
This
can
Drake.
get that Nunu right there. Oh, nope.
They still have two
Didn't leave
teleports
him to
up.
it.
They still, if they don't
There
get
is
this down
a
in 30
flash
seconds,
on the
they
Nunu.
do have the two teleports on the side of
They
SAS.
SAS do have vision on this Drake. Nunu has flash. He can get into the pit. If he steals this, it'll be just what the team needs. He can see Stinky's out of the pit. He just needs to get in there now. The Dragon's starting to get very low. He's just running around the side. 3,000 health. 2,800. They've gone in. They've gone for it.
Oh.
The knockup was used and they got the Elder.
Oh, the dragon.
Beautiful steal. That might decide the game. They managed to take down Jax in return, and that is pretty big. That's the Baron buff off of the Jax as well. The only thing to remember
Oh my lord.
is they may have stolen the Elder, but there's no Elder on anyone of the team. Vigar had not respawned. So we're now just waiting
a lot
out.
of pressure, though.
It
But
does
that
stop
did
quite a lot of
deny
pressure.
them of Elder, to be honest. That did deny Grove
We're just...
from taking
Ooh, but
Elder.
Xerath is stuck here. Doobie jumps up, does get a little bit of poke.
Preston does get
I Hate My Life is behind the team, goes for the
Going for
fish.
that ultimate.
Only hits Troll Zoe in the end. So, I
Game's
mean,
kinda slowed down
whoever
once
thought
again.
that the game was going to end at that Elder was obviously wrong. We're into a 46-minute game right now. We have over 60 kills. We had 8 Drakes being taken, 3 Barons, 2 Steals. This is a game. This is a game and a half. If we look through the teams, almost everyone's on full build now. Who don't we have on full build? Jax is still sitting with 1 item left to complete. We also have 1 item left to complete on the other side for Pantheon and for Nunu and Fizz. So actually the side of SAS can get quite a
Stinky
bit
going
stronger.
in for Fizz, bot lane.
Looks like he's going to try and pick up Fizz here, but the TP's
Might
coming
Fizz.
down.
Ooh,
They
and
want to
the
take this
ult
fight.
goes in.
Stinky's out of
Nunu comes
position
down.
now. The ultimate
The
is
Mata
used,
cannon's in.
double ultimate used, but Stinky, there's just no grievous wounds for him. He's just life-stealing back up.
That's what I need.
Pantheon's not there.
Fizz dies there. Oh, And
That's why I
that's
said that you need the executioners
fight.
on that Renekton.
Yep. And there you could really see just how impactful the difference between having grievous wounds or not grievous wounds would be. He would be 100% dead. It looks like they might just go for the base race here, but I'm not sure that's what they want to do. Preston just buying time with that Zhonya's. They do knock him down, but
Preston does
they
die
will not win this
immediately.
base race. That is a jinx. The TP is coming back from the Vigar. He's going to do what he can. Hostlayer in the meantime is going to try and pick up that in return, but Stinky can just kill Vigar very easily here.
Yeah.
They needed both back. And
I
it was
think they're
that play
just buying time at that point, but the game
around the
does
bot
go
lane,
to girl.
and game one goes over to Girl.
What a
And Girl are
game!
the winners of the first season of the Jolyu League.
Oh my
That is 7
god,
wins for
that
them. No
was
one can now
such
catch
a
them.
good game.
GG to them. And what a game to win it on. What a game to win it on.
100%. That was the game to watch.
Of course, we do have one more game, and games are important, as it will end up deciding who the seeding for the tournament that we're doing after the season. And of course, tournaments are fun. You want to get good seeding for the tournament, so you want to come second if possible. So this is another important game for the side of SAS Arctic. And you know what? It's an important game for the side of Girl because if they win the next game, then they are undefeated in the first season, um, which is quite big. We can have a brief look over stats. Unfortunately, I am not able to do polls in the chat, so in terms of MVPs, if you guys want to say to me who you think your MVPs were, and anyone in the chat, throw your MVP vote into the chat, and we'll count them up, and we'll see from there, because we don't have any fancy polls over here on my channel. That's, too highbrow for us. In terms of damage stats, things like that, you can see still no control wards purchased. Pretty much Stinky doing a lot of the damage there. So, guys, who would you think is your MVP?
Would you give it to Gabblit?
Who would I give it to? Okay, well, we'll start with the losing side, shall we? We usually do that. So, for the side of SAS, of course, very unfortunate game for them. They got pretty far ahead, but they didn't really manage to convert that into the win. Doopy was winning his lane, but it felt like towards the later ends of the game, he didn't really know how to convert that into a win for his team. He kept trying to come and help the team when realistically he just needed to be split pushing. Quite unfortunate. I Hate My Life also did very well, of course, on the Fizz. He was catching out people where he needed to. I think you would just give it to Doobie. Doobie did get the early lead. It's a bit unfortunate that they didn't manage to transition with it, but he overall did play extremely well, and he was catching out Jinx in the team fights. Just got outscaled on that Renekton, and quite unfortunate for him.
Oh,
Do
I
either of
agree.
you disagree? Want to shout someone out you think also did very well on the side of SAS Arctic?
I'd like to shout out the Nunu actually, because I
Did
feel
get
like
the Elder
Nunu
Steal.
was. Yeah, the steal was pretty good, and I do believe Nunu really contributed to giving Doobie all the kills top side. Not all the kills, but pretty much helped out a lot.
There were some
Mid lane
ganks
and top
towards that
side.
top
Yeah.
side, and definitely he
Mm-hmm.
helped get the mid lane. It was very good.
The mid lane
And
ganks were especially really good. They zoned Preston out pretty much a lot during early game. I do think a special shout out to Nunu is needed.
and for the side of Girl, who do you think you would give your vote to?
I definitely give it to the Kane.
Kane?
100%. The
Yeah,
Kane.
I think that's the obvious one. There seems to be some throws in the chat that they'd give the MVP to the Jacks. From this, well, that's Girls players are saying they would give the MVP to the Jacks, so that's quite an interesting one to see. Um, but I think overall, yeah, I don't think anyone's really going to contest the fact that Sninky on the Kane there was really carried Girl through the mid game into that late game. And even in the late game, he was getting the picks. He was living so long in these team fights that SAS were just really struggling to get anything done. Let me just get Nikki in here before everyone joins. Yes, this is the setup of the lobby that people don't usually see. I should probably get the lobby off for now. Yeah, I'll remove the lobby and we'll go to the beautiful, beautiful background while we set everything up. High quality streams.
Yeah, I should
High quality streams. Ah, my text is extremely annoying to see. Perfect. That's exactly what you want to see. No one should be able to read anything that comes up on the screen. That's personally, I just think you don't have. You've got your own chat there. We we don't have to have that. Yes. So we can see that all the people that weren't on Girl who are putting votes into the chat for who they think it should be is Kane. I see at least 3 Kanes. So that'll do. Both. So yes. We can have a brief talk about what the knockout stage is. So it's not really stages. They're 2 separate things. But when it does get into the when it does get into the knockout stage, as it were, what we're going to do is we're going to have the teams from the league be invited. We're going to try and get 8 teams. If any teams say they don't want to play or they don't feel like they have the team to play, we're going to give it to the people below. No, it's 2 separate tourneys, but the knockout stage is going to be seeded by how people did in this regular season. So Girl being top will get first choice out of the 4 lower seeds of who they face in round 1. And then the second seeded team will get the next choice out of the 3 bottom seeds of who they get to face. And that's how we're going to do it. And the tournament's basically going to last 2 weeks, and that'll give people greater time if they want to make a team to create one for the regular season league, because of course that lasts a lot longer times. It's not just going to be like 2 weeks. So I have to see how that works out. I think we do just have waiting for something. Not so sure what we are waiting on right now. Of course, Ollie has gone off to help with the drafting, because he is the coach for the side of SAS Arctic. So he'll try and get them a draft, which will give them a greater chance in this game. I do wonder how seriously Girl will take the game. They can, of course, be completely lossless. They can have a perfect first season here where they don't lose a single game, or they can decide we're going to have some fun for the final game, and they might just lock in some strange picks that they don't usually get to pick.
I think they're definitely going to try to have some fun, but they're also going to try to convert that into a win for sure. So probably not troll picks, but definitely picks that will
Maybe a bit more spicy
make them
picks.
happy. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we might just see some picks picked up that are bad matchups just to see if they can get it through. Will the other tourney be more like a tourney, like a final best of 5 or something in a semi-final instead of a point system? Yes, that's exactly what it will be. There will be 8 teams. We'll be sorted out into a bracket. We'll have first seed playing against one of the bottom 4 seeds, and all the way through like that. Whoever loses, they will play best of 3s. Whoever loses those gets knocked out. Then we go up a stage. So there'll be 4 teams left in the semis. Best of 3s. Whoever loses gets knocked out, and then into the finals, which will be a best of 5 between the 2 top teams. And we shall see how that goes. Hopefully, we'll have enough teams to do it. I might try and make. If we don't have enough teams, I'll try and shove people in together for a Coral team. Gee, my brain. And if we have enough people for the Coral team, then perfect. If we don't, we'll work out how to run the tourney with less people. Maybe it'll just be a 4-team tourney. We'll have to see. Or we can give buys to some teams. Yeah. If you don't know about the league, or you are just joining for one of the first times, we do have a nice Discord that you can come and join, and you can join a team in there. You can put yourself down. Don't know if we actually have anyone that's new, but there is the link to the Discord. Come and join if you want to. Have some fun. Sometimes we do in-houses where people just basically pick teams randomly with random positions, and you just play some games, have some fun. In there is also stuff like we have a place where you can put yourself out there to be joined in a team, or you can try and find players to make your own team. Like I said, we will potentially be making a Coral made team and just throw all that together. So the thing we do have is all of our free agents right now. We have 1 mid and we have 5 ADCs, so it will be quite hard to make a team from that. Although it seems like all the teams might just be swapping ADCs around. Maybe that's going to happen. We'll have to see. So something that's going to be very interesting, I think, is to see how these teams look coming into Season 2 when we put it together, and to see what changes have been made, who is in each team. And that will just be, yeah, very, very interesting to see. In terms of what games we have left in the league, we do have the top game of the river bracket, so the lower bracket, coming up. I believe it's Sunday. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's Sunday. Sunday, I think it's 3 p.m. BST. But here we go, interrupting me as we go into the ban phase. Thank God I was starting to run out of stuff to talk about. So,
I guess I'll take this as my cue to leave.
yeah,
Well,
if you want to just dip out, no
yeah.
worries. Thank you for coming to cast.
No problem. Enjoy the rest of your casting, Gabblit.
Will do, will do. So, getting back into this, will we see anything fun being banned or picked? We see the Gragas ban out from the side of Girl. It's not something that you tend to see very often. So that's quite an interesting one. I don't know if it's something that's particularly played by Toxic Mouse. They're banning Ivan. Are they trying to spell something here? IG at the end? Unless they've already messed up what they were going to spell because they didn't realize their picks were going to come in backwards this time. I have also just realized that the teams are on the wrong sides. Don't worry, I will fix that. I will fix that. You just gotta give me a minute.
Fear the shadows. Fear controls them.
She'll swap these around like that. Oh, top quality right there. Top. Oh, beautiful. Do you see that, guys? Like, nothing happened. It was all like this from the get-go. So, yes. Renekton, Ivan, Gragas bans out from the side of Girl, Shen, Ziggs, and Kayn bans from the side of SAS Arctic. And then we have the Gnar first pick, so it looks like Yamato wants to have some fun playing that Gnar potentially, and then Pyke is being hovered from the side of SAS Arctic. We do know Hostlayer really loves to play that Pyke, really good Pyke, and it is locked in, so not too worried about anything that Troll Zoe could pick into the Pyke. I think the only thing you really should be worried about potentially being picked into the Pyke is the Senna because of the amount of range that it brings you. And then we can see for Preston, we do get the TF locked in, and the Kai'Sa is locked in as their bottom lane. So this is more of a slightly more fun comp than we tend to see from the side of girl, maybe wanting to just have a bit of fun and try and win at the same time. It's not a fun troll comp, it's a fun we're gonna try comp. And we see Trundle and Lucian were locked in for the side of SAS. Lucian, of course, very strong laner, can go very well with the Pyke. That's pretty much a guaranteed kill in the bot lane. This could also be a mid lane Lucian. Of course, Lucian can be flexed into that mid lane. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Grace banned out, so more bans towards this jungle, towards Stinky. And of course, we had a random leave again. Interesting. I'll show you guys back to the nice background. While we sort out exactly what's going on, it looks like maybe both teams are just happy with that. If I could get up the stat sheet, I would. I didn't really think about that. That would have been that would have been a really good idea. Yeah, previously none of the stuff was working, so I was I was a bit harassing poor Mia to get me or poor Yoria to get me get me a lot of the backgrounds and stuff so I could make it all work. So I didn't even think about putting in um other screens to show off like stats sheets and stuff. But we can wait and see exactly what has happened. So, looks like maybe the teams are both ready. Yep, looks like both teams are ready. So we will be starting back up this draft, and I think they agreed to do the same. Pick some bans up to where Preston was there. Back to the client. Yay. So, let's get my mouse out of there. Top quality. We'll have to see. Were Girl trying to spell something? Gragas, Ivan, and I think it was a Renekton. Rig. Or were they trying to spell girl and just spelt it backwards? I have a feeling. Maybe. Maybe they misspelt something here.
Fear controls them.
Yep. Ilrig. Silrig, maybe, coming in. Have to see. Definitely the way this works, seems to have remembered all of the picks. They tried to write girl, it seems, but forgot that on the blue side your bands come out backwards, so instead have written Ulrig. Or it seems like that might be what they have written. So will they ban something else in return? We'll have to wait and see. Yep, there we go. You know, if we mirror it, then they've banned correctly here to spell girl. I'd expect maybe we're going to see a champion that begins with S next being banned. I wonder. Whereas for the side of SAS, they decide to ban the Morgana. They don't want to see that Morgana into the Pyke. It can block a lot of his CC. Yeah, they spelt girls, but they spelt it backwards because they forgot about which side they were on. So there we go. No Vigar this game. Does not look like we're having a Vigar. They've decided that the Vigar wasn't that useful. They've gone for a kill lane bot lane with the Lucian Pike. Unless that Lucian is a mid. It could be a mid. You never know. So SAS have to lock in another champion here. They're going for the Cho'Gath, which is just a strong top laner. Very good into tanks. Ooh. And here we go. The almost insta-locks of Lee Sin Blitzcrank. Troll Zoe, I believe, has played some Blitzcrank. I'm not sure how comfortable he is on it. We'll have to wait and see how this game goes for them. Blitzcrank can be very good into Pike Lucian. It can also be very bad into Pike Lucian. Kai'Sa is not a champion that you really want to be playing people too often on. And there's a Lux locked in. This could be. It's an interesting point. We can't really tell from this until the teams move around who is going exactly where. Looks like maybe we have a Lux Pike bot lane with the Lucian in mid. That's very interesting. I do actually quite like it. It makes it a lot harder to itemize into because you can't just pick up that early armor in the bot lane to be as effective. Lux, though, will struggle to clear the waves, especially as fast as a Kai'Sa could, and might also struggle to punish the Kai'Sa quite as much. Lucian, good at it here. Trundle into 0 tanks. Talk about a power pick. I mean, what you've got to remember is that Trundle's Q, I believe, it steals AD. It either steals or lowers AD. So it's just very good into AD picks. So it should do fine into Lee Sin. It should do fine into Gnar. Especially when you've got a Cho'Gath to also help you frontline. I don't think there's too much of an issue. The slight interesting thing that we'll have to see is do we ever get a Gnar ult into the Trundle pillar? If so, I think we should give him an honorary assist. Yeah, so we'll have to see how that goes. In terms of how the two teams have drafted, I think there's a very easy sort of strong team fight team coming out from the side of SAS Arctic. Whereas Gil have a far more early game pick reliant team. TF should be all over the map. Lee Sin should be ganking a lot.
I'm just going to point out that the whole of Girl off roles, you have Saboteur, who's normally
I have
a
just realized
ADC,
that.
is on Gnar. You have Troll Zoe, the support, is on Twisted Fate, the mid lane. Yamato, whose top lane is ADC. Preston, the mid lane, is on jungle, and the jungle is on support.
My brain did not even pick up on that. That
Yeah.
does explain the picks far more. Kai'Sa is more of a Yamato pick. He does play ADC usually, just not for Girl. So they've swapped their ADC and top lane for a game. And then also everyone else has just swapped around a little bit for a game, playing off role. So this should be quite interesting. Yeah, I think Girl are doing it mainly because they want to have a bit of fun, and now that they know that they've definitely won the league, they think, let's see what we can do in some other roles. Should be an interesting game.
Yeah, I agree with George. It is kind of disrespectful towards the side of Arctic.
You can see it that way. I mean, I don't think there's too much problem with it, but they do get some slight use out of it from changing around the lanes a bit. They get to see how they perform in the other lanes. But, you know,
I agree with George
overall,
at this point. As personally, I do agree with George. Yeah, but
there is no rule about you have to go in your lanes. It can just be seen as disrespectful, but there is no rules because you don't have to specify who is going what lane. You can just sub in anyone for any point. It's something I would usually have expected to see talked about with the other team, but hey ho, there we go. We're gonna have an interesting game. As we go into 0 seconds on the spectator delay, it's just League taking its time, loading up as per usual. and we'll load into the game. So yeah, so something else to note here. Is it Lucian mid Lux ADC? I see a teleport on the Lux.
It is the Lux APC with the Lucian mid lane.
So this should be quite interesting. To see how this is played out. Of course, Lucian has quite high kill threat onto the Twisted Fate. You should be able to push him in early and really pressure that lane. We've got the same thing in the bot lane, where it's mostly going to come down to which hook champion is able to get the better hooks. I'd expect Kai'Sa Blitzcrank to have the better all-in early. There is a bit of knowledge around which team gets off their skills better. My brain is just dying. I am sorry. Let me rejig this board into the correct positions at the very least. I'll have to see how both teams handle this game. So we can see pings going down. We'll have a look at where the teams decide to go. Both supports taking the normal items. Of course, Lux is taking a Doran's Ring as well as TF. SAS are stacking a bush. Looks like they're expecting an invade from the side of Girl, who have that Blitzcrank. The ward is also put down on the blue buff, but Girl are actually going for this topside invade. Potentially, we're hoping to catch out Doobie waiting in a bush. Ping's going down onto the tower. They think he might be under the tower, but they're just going to walk through this topside jungle. Will they decide to do anything with this or not?
How are they going? They could be waiting for the top laner to go up towards that top lane.
Yep, this could be... Oh, wait, it looks like they're just going to go and try and steal away their red buff, but depending on where Doobie walks here, he could be in a lot of trouble. And he's walking straight into the side of Girl, but they have backed off. They can see him there. Just a little bit of poke put down. Preston will sneak in to take away this red buff, which will not be known by the side of SAS. I don't believe that they caught him on the vision doing that. Toxic Blast in the meanwhile just going to clear out that bottom side jungle. Oh, but the first hook already goes down onto auto kill. A root has come down from the Lux, having to flash away the ignite used. Getting very low and just managing to survive there. Ooh, that is not great for the side of SAS. Lux will be having to teleport back into this lane very early. Not the worst thing, honestly. Should be able to teleport without really losing too much.
Yeah.
And that teleport should coming back off cooldown. But there's another hook. Haha Poop Stinky is just showing that he can play the Blitzcrank. That's 2 hooks. Both have hit. Yeah, Blitzcrank, an extremely interesting champion. Zabatore, meanwhile, back into this top lane. Doobie just takes a very nice small trade there. And if we look towards the mid lane, so far it's about even. Ooh, Stinky does thread the hook there, but doesn't actually manage to get it down. I Hate My Life is just making Jolyu hate his life as he pokes him out of the lane. So this bot lane for SAS right now are kind of a little bit far behind after some nice hooks from the Blitzcrank. That's not really where you want to be. And quite unfortunate. You don't really want to fall too far behind on Lux. You won't be able to use that early power of her passive as well as before, because you can't really walk up to this Blitzcrank. Yeah, I thought the Lux was an interesting pick. especially with a Blitzcrank there. It's very much just who manages to play or get the early advantage in the lane. Stinky is just walking up here, misses the hook, and Yamato Cannon is pulled in. But there's the flash forwards.
Ignite.
They're really going onto him here. There's the shielding from the Lux used. Yamato Cannon on 100 health just walking out there. Stinky thrown over the back of Hostlayer. Auto kill going for that kill. Yamato on no health, a nice binding picks that up. Meanwhile, in the top side, gank onto Doobie, but he just flashes out.
Also in the mid lane there is a
And
gank
in the mid
coming
lane,
in
there's a gank
from
onto
that.
Troll
Troll
Zoe,
Zoe
and
is
he's very
actually
low.
going-
I hate my life, flashes forwards, gets the ignite down. But the health gain from Troll Zoe, he's just picked up on the back
Couldn't
end.
have
Stinky is also very low in this bot lane. Every lane fights at once. And in the end, all we really see is there's one kill that comes down in that bottom lane, getting that Lux some gold back. And there's also the trade kill in the mid lane, which overall should work out slightly in Lucian's favor as the wave is starting to push in towards him, but he'll manage to get back without losing too many of those minions. DB just clearing out this top lane, happy to just scale up into this Gnar, not really expecting to get too many early kills, early pressure, just happy to get the extra damage, the extra scaling. In the jungle, we can see both junglers are just sort of farming up. They both had a nice gank early. It's kind of to be expected. Neither of these junglers are the quickest at farming. If Trundle decides to build Tiamat, that'll definitely be the point where he starts to speed up his clear. Lee, meanwhile, is never going to be the fastest clear. And then in the bot lane, we have about a 15 odd CS gold lead for the Kai'Sa, which mainly comes from that early pressure and the fact that Lux auto attacks don't do much damage and are quite slow. It's hard to pressure it as much. You're going to have to do most of your farming under the tower. That's a miss from Stinky. Cast a curse, just so I say, all of his hooks have hit. He starts missing every single hook. But here's the engage. Hostlayer moving forwards, uses the pullback onto Stinky. There is the slow field just being used for CC. That's what you like to see, but the hook goes back, pulling auto kill back in. That's one kill picked up for the side of Girl right now. The
Doobie
binding
has
misses.
got a pick up on the Gnar top lane, and there's the engage from
And
Hate My Life in the mid lane, killing
Both the
Zoe.
solo lanes of SAS pick up solo kills onto their counterparts. This swap may have been good for the bot lane and jungle of Girl, but the solo lanes aren't doing so great. It was looking okay near the start. TF wasn't falling too far behind. Actually uses that ultimate to just get back to lane. Quite strange. Girl do manage to pick up this early Ocean Drake because of the pressure that they created in the bottom side. Yeah, as I was saying, TF didn't look like he was falling too far behind early, which is what you really want to see. Oh, but another hook goes in onto Hostlayer. Shield and Root are used to keep him alive. Yeah, basically you just didn't want to fall too far behind on the TF early, which was what was happening, but getting solo killed starts to set a kind of an awkward precedent.
So basically, what happened in the top lane between the Cho'Gath and the Gnar? The Gnar was actually teleporting to the bot lane to help out with that that gank and help out with the team going towards the bot lane. And then he got caught out, silenced, and knocked up by that Cho'Gath at level 6. Cho'Gath then went engaged on top of that Gnar, using his ultimate to clean him up, so he couldn't actually teleport down and couldn't use his E or flash to get away because of the silence.
So just a very nice combo from the Cho'Gath and Zabatore on the Gnar, not really respecting the fact that Cho'Gath can do a lot of damage, especially when he hits at 6. Let's see how this goes. Hostlayer might just be looking for an interrupt. And here we see I Hate My Life is just bullying out Troll Zoe. He gets the gold card down, but not much really comes out of it in the end. So the strong points of the map right now for SAS are definitely... Oh, but there's an engage in mid, the kick back, and there is the gold card after the Lee Sin kick with the Ignite being used. Which rune do I prefer on Cho'Gath? Personally, I tend to like to take Grasp of the Undying, but that's because I tend to just build like full tank.
Trundle's
then,
going into the top
oh,
lane. There's
they
a
get
flash
the
coming
flash.
out onto that. Nah.
They get the flash out of Gnar, which is quite important. That gives them an easier kill later on. Hopefully we see a return gank fairly soon to really punish the fact that this Gnar now has no flash. Yeah, which rune do I prefer on Cho'Gath? I think both Grasp and the Frozen one are really good.
Glacial.
Yeah, Glacial.
Yeah,
if
he's
you're
running Glacial at the moment.
if you're good at using Glacial and you want to go or you want to go AP Cho, you should always really go Glacial. So it's a good pick up here because as you can see, he does want to build AP. He wants to get that extra damage down. And I think Preston was spotted out there on the top side of the map, but they know he has no Gromp. And they see he's not come on the ward, so they should understand that he will be pathing towards this bottom side of the map. This means Doobie can push up a bit more aggressively than he usually would, but here's the Destiny used into that top lane. Zabatori trying to get that stun, does just about hit it. The auto attacks are coming down from Troll Zoe. Doobie forced a flash. Troll Zoe does get this stun into the flash forwards and pick up that kill. Meanwhile, they have just left Lucian in this middle lane though. He is getting plates, getting damage onto this mid lane tower. Gonna pick up 2 plates in return, which overall is actually more gold.
Trundle going in on top of that Gnar right now. You have the Lux
Slow
coming
Lux
up
is
as well.
also here,
The
double
root,
binding
the ultimate
into the
coming
final
out,
spark.
and the final ultimate auto going onto that Twisted Fate, picking up the kill for that Lucian.
Beautiful route into the
The
final
teleport
spark.
coming from the Cho'Gath here. They've spotted that instantly. They backed off immediately because they know they're not going to win that fight.
Honestly, a good teleport just to make sure there's absolutely no chance of I Hate My Life being picked up in return there.
Yeah.
It does leave Hostlayer to pick up all of this CS in the bottom lane, if he can do. Just not the greatest, but your Lux did get a kill and an assist on the top lane, which is great.
Exactly.
That is what you need to be seeing. So, SAS here definitely do have a really good scaling team. And we'll have to see how this really goes. Oh, but there's another hook onto the Lux and a nice early flash.
Lux is coming there as well.
Trying to stay safe, but the kick is just used to pick him up. And that is the ultimate from Hostlayer used to make sure that actually SAS win that trade overall as they get both the kill gold onto the Pike.
Don't know
and the
if
Lux.
it's it's not.
And he
but
goes
there
back
is,
in for it.
ultimate,
Oh, but that may have
still-
been a bit of an overstep for Hostlayer. He gets hooked
Yeah.
back.
Didn't estimate the heal and ended up getting lost to that. There's the Doobie going into the top lane. The E can't come out on that Gnar because of the silence, but Gnar's got a lot of damage there just to
Yep,
fight
and
back
does have to be
against
very careful.
Doobie.
I Hate My Life still pressuring out Troll Zoe here in lane. Would expect that to keep coming down. It is a Mana Moon Lucian.
Yep.
Mana Moon on ADC is very good. Pretty much doesn't matter what ADC as long as you can stack it. In terms of gold lead, we do have a very slight lead for the side of Girl right now. Ooh,
The stun's
there's
going
the
into
engage
the
at the
Doobie.
top.
There's
Doobie
the
is
auto,
probably
the
just going
ultimate
to
coming
die.
out, losing it just. Stinky going onto a fight onto the Trundle. There is the getting stopped by the pillar. Lee Sin comes in. You have Lucian on the side using the ultimate just to zone off that Trundle. Pike going in and getting picked up by that Blitz.
Again, just a bit of an overstep. They should have known that they're in the 3v4. Hostlayer didn't have ultimate either. Yeah, they should have taken the small win. Trade and backed off.
The ultimate coming out and not getting a pick, but getting a lot of damage. Here comes the Trundle there. They know exactly where the Blitz
Does
is.
pick up a bit
Kaiser
of
in
more
the
damage.
Kaiser getting a pick onto that Trundle
Toxic
right
Mouse is
now.
very low. Ends up using the flash.
And the teleport's
Auto
coming
kill
out by the Twisted
Is
Fate
in a lot
here.
of trouble here. That's the Destiny used. And it's all sort of just going a bit sideways for the side of SAS right now. The good news is Lucian is getting quite strong. He's getting these solo plate golds in the mid lane. He's getting some nice farm down onto himself. He's stacking up that mana moon. He will be very strong when we get towards these later stages of the game. Hostlayer wanting to take this fight.
Ultimate was very nice by that Kaiser. If that ultimate wasn't up there, he would have got the stun and probably gotten that kill due to the turret damage.
Probably gotten the kill. It was a very aggressive play. And you do like to see when people are behind, they still like to make those aggressive plays. You can just lose a game bleeding it out sometimes. Oops. Without the aggressive play, I'll just let the camera direct itself back again, because nothing's going to happen in the meantime. But yeah, we did see another kill up in that top lane. You do have to be very careful of that Gnar damage.
So Gnar is actually just going full onto a damage build. He's got fleet footwork, he's got the black cleaver, he is just looking for the damage build here.
Well, Hostlayer might actually just die to these minion autos. Oh, and it does just enough damage to pick him up on the backside there. This Pike pick really not working out too well at the moment. But good news is, the more times you die, the less gold you give over. That's something you can always look at. And on Pike, it's good to see trying to make plays. Of course, that is a very big bounty now sitting on the Kaiser. If they can pick up that bounty onto one of the members of SAS, that is a hell of a lot of gold brought back. That is over 3 kills just sitting in that Kaiser right now. Because you get the 300 plus the extra 650. And I hate my life going in for this kill. Not quite getting enough damage put down there. I can see that the bot lane for Girl have been moved up towards this mid. We get C, Saboteur slapping some minions on the top. That's very nice to see, you know. Just Gnar hitting minions. That's what we want to see. The game heard somebody talking about top lane earlier and was like, yeah, we got to see more top lane.
The ultimate coming in from that Lee Sin, messing up that combo.
As long as there's not much, don't see much of a synergy between Pike and Lux. The general thought is Pike hooks, Lux binds. That guarantees the Pike stun, which also guarantees the Lux combo, full combo. Even if you're not too proficient at it, you should be able to get the maximum amount of autos in time. But oh, that was a nice predict from Stinky, but it wasn't quite on target. And Yamato might be a bit out of position, ends up having to use the heal to get out there. Yeah, basically you get the full Lux combo and then Pike just has to ultimate at the end to pick up the kill is the idea. And then you also have both magic and physical damage, so it makes it a lot harder to itemize against. You can't even take a rune. Yeah, Lux is very slow at clearing waves. It's kind of awkward. You have to be very good to clear the waves well. Oh, but there's a hook onto I Hate My Life. And ouch, that is a lot of damage. Yamato Cannon does manage to get out there and the stun from the Pike doesn't quite get onto him. This game is just sort of falling entirely by the wayside now for the side of SAS. They're just attempting to do what they can. Saboteur will get picked up on the backside, and that is a little bit of a bounty into the pockets of the Lux, which is something. Definitely something. And the Lucent Singularity will be used just to clear out that minion wave. There is a little bit of an issue right now in the gold lead. It has now ballooned up to just over 6,000 gold. I think it'll be quite interesting to see where the gold lead actually is. Pretty much it's in every position except the mid lane. Mid lane is still slightly in SAS's favor. The main chunk of gold is within that bottom lane. There's almost a 4k gold lead on the Kai'Sa, just under about 3.8k. Which you can see is basically being about a full item. We'll have to see how this goes. For the side of SAS, how they decide to play around the fact that they are starting to fall quite far behind in this game, and Pike Host Slayer is just a bit out of position again. That's unfortunate. And Girl are going to pick up the Drake. Meanwhile, that Herald was used in the top lane. It looks like Salvatore will not quite manage to pick up that tower with the Herald. And I Hate My Life is just dodging however he can, but a little bit out of position there. Really not going great right now for the side of SAS. And Salvatore jumping forwards gets the stun. Doobie's turning around, he knows Host Slayer is here to back him up. And there's the pullback into the stun. And the ultimate is used in time, I believe, for both of them to pick up that kill gold. Nope. Yeah, it was Host Slayer was just a little bit late on the ultimate from the Pike. So all of that gold does go into the Cho'Gath. But that's what you need to be getting right now, is just small advantages. I Hate My Life holding on to the dash just long enough, but not quite long enough to survive. Host Slayer uses the pull back on the Bone Spear, but the Yamato Cannon has the flash. Orskill throwing out a root, does not manage to get anything. They do put the CC down onto Preston. That's one kill picked up for the side of SAS. They're turning this around right now. This could be a lot of trouble for Yamato Cannon. He's getting very low. A lot of people, and that money all goes onto the Pike. That is a bonus 700 gold into the Pike's pockets. Maybe not the person you particularly want the bonus gold to be on, but still, that is a hell of a lot of gold shoved into what is an assassin. Just some trading going down in this mid lane. Looks like SAS will try and pick up this mid lane tower and just open up the map a little bit. A nice root put down onto Zoe. And there's the CC chain and just chomped by the Cho'Gath. And yet again, these are just the small trades that SAS need to make to pull themselves back into this game. They've pulled that gold lead down to about 5,000. And as long as they can keep doing this, Doobie with a nice block there onto Preston, but the kickback does not quite pull it into auto kill. So this is a bit of a rough game for SAS. They are holding their own. Looks like they're moving up right now to pull Girl up, moving up onto Hate My Life, and that is a lot of people coming up. That one kill, they do pick it up. Money goes into Preston's pockets on the Lee Sin. And Girl are all moving up towards this top lane to push in the wave. Well, 3 of them are moving up to push in the wave together. The root misses from auto kill. It looks like they might be going for that engage. The ultimate is used from the Gnar. This looks like it might be a good fight for SAS. The Destiny is used from the TF. He's coming in on the backside. They get the damage down onto the Lux. That's a pull onto her, but she jumps away. It's just enough damage on that card to pick her up on the backside. Host Slayer is running in, gets stunned. Troll Zoe gets very low and does get taken out. This fight has been turned around by Girl. Kai'Sa is still alive. That's kill picked up, put down onto Preston. Oh, and there's Stinky with yet another hook over the wall. Hate My Life wanting to take this fight into the Lee Sin. And they do pick that up, and that is a shutdown onto the Lucian. That's the kind of trade that you need. Toxic Mouse just interrupting Stinky on the back here. No, Stinky's on his own right now. Thinks he can run him down. But that Blitzcrank is just too fast. As soon as those Moby Boots come back online, out he goes. So let's talk about the Tiamat Trundle. Tiamat, you tend to build on Trundle just because it helps you clear your jungle so much faster. And it really lets you push yourself towards that later game. And then eventually you turn that into a Titanic Hydra at some point. Usually not until you have quite a few items under your belt. But it does help a lot with your damage, your later game wave clear. And it looks like the soul is probably going to be picked up by Girl here. Yep, not in time from SAS to contest, but it is just the Cloud Soul, so it's not the biggest thing, definitely by far. Some nice damage being put down, but they just don't have enough. It's just tickling the side of Girl right now. Hostlayer is a bit out of position, does pull in Yamato Cannon, and that's a nice pull over. He gets the shutdown gold, and I believe the shutdown gold is shared. I'm not actually sure how that works. If anyone knows, let me know. Zabatori just does run down in the base there. They do pick up another one on the backside. This team of I Hate My Life and Hostlayer just picking up kills, taking names, and they're going to run down the Blitzcrank next. That's a lot of gold going into the pockets of the Lucian and the Pike, but he runs straight into the open arms of Zabatori, who just picks back up that kill. But that is a lot of gold. You can see that the gold lead is back again to about 5,000. But that is a lot of free stats that will be picked up on the Cho'Gath. He is starting to become tanky. He has finished both of those slow items. And here they are, they're going in onto the Gnar. He's just used most of his abilities. The Mega is about to run out, which will make him not very tanky. Pike is just run down though by Lee Sin. That's a jump in from Yamato Cannon and pretty much a one-shot onto that poor Lux. She finished the Morello second. I see. Yeah, Yamato Cannon is just so strong at this point in the game. He's completed 3 items. His Muramana has finished stacking. Oh, and I Hate My Life does not like his life right now. That's a lot of damage. I Hate My Life sitting on just over 100 health. Do be blocking the Void Seeker. I think it's Void Seeker. Stinky pulls Doobie over the wall. And oh my god, the damage on the Kaiser is disgusting. And that's that finished tier item. Autokill does get the shutdown. Gets a little bit more gold. They can come back from this. It's very hard. But it would be possible. Girl right now have turned onto this Baron. They're doing what they can. They do know that the Baron is being done. Autokill does not quite have the ultimate back up yet, but uses the Lucent Singularity. There could be a potential steal. The Lux ultimate is back up. That final spark will do a lot of damage. If they time this right, they could get the steal, but it's used just a little bit too early. The vision runs out, and she has to guess. And the Baron is secured for the side of Girl. So I Hate My Life does at least get a turret on the back half of that. Zabatori Gnar's out, misses the ultimate. So, you know, overall, could be worse. Toxic Mouse is quite out of position here. But the flash hook forwards into autokill. And that's picked up. Also using the Destiny to get inside of the enemy team's base. Just getting some extra damage down. Girl are just running this down the mid lane. I expect them to probably try and end the game right here. I'd be surprised if they didn't. And there's a flash forwards from Troll Zoe. They try to get I Hate My Life, who's still alive. Just about, and that's the Pike picking up one with the ultimate. Pull back onto Cho'Gath. He does just walk out of this fight. Zabatori is knocked up, but does get the 3-man stun. Meanwhile, Kaiser is getting to free hit on the backside. I Hate My Life goes in, almost manages to pick up Yamato Cannon. The Ignite is on him. They pick him up. It's just Zabatori and Stinky left alive now to fight against this Cho'Gath and Lux from the side of SAS. And SAS do save the base. AJ Styles, yes, Girl have changed their roles. They recognized that they had won the league and decided to change their roles up for the final game. It's not too far of an off role. I believe all of them are playing at the very least their secondary roles, and Yamato Cannon is now in his primary role because he is primarily an ADC. And yeah, it seems to have gone quite well for them. Essentially, they played mostly through the bottom lane, converting their pressure down there, and it's worked out for them. Oh, but there's another hook. I Hate My Life is just very low. The Ignite ticks down to pick up that kill. Destiny is used. The gold card used onto a minion, though. That is a slight mistake. Zabatori jumping in with the Gnarl, Gnaring out. I just pointed out in the chat, the roll sort seems to have made them stronger. It does, and I'm not sure why. Yeah, it's quite interesting how the role swap has changed up this team, actually. But that was the Elder being picked up by the side of Girl. All they have to do now is end this game. They're going on to Toxic Mouse. Toxic Mouse getting pretty low. But SAS are holding onto this game. They do not want to give it up. Culling being put down. Hostlayer is coming in the backside. Tries to get the root stun, but doesn't quite manage to. Misses the ultimate. Cho'Gath kicked back into the enemy team, and he's just knocked down out of this game. Final tower will be going down now, and that should be the game to going in the favor of Girl. And they do win the first season of the Jolyu League, being undefeated. And interesting game. It looked like they were just sort of messing around to have a bit of fun when they locked in champions on the wrong people, but honestly, that looked like they might have been even stronger than we've seen them for the rest of the season. It's hard to tell. Yamato Cannon definitely well, Yamato Cannon and Stinky there, putting the teams on their back, putting the team on their backs, and yeah, we'll have to see how the final week goes to decide who gets the second and third place. And I guess we have MVPs to do. And I did notice at some point Aldi got very quiet through that.
No, I'm still here.
Yeah. Would you like to do MVPs, or shall we just skip over it, because I think it's fairly obvious who the MVP might go to, and we can leave it up to chat. Chat, there is no vote because I can't give you a poll. Just throw into the chat who you think should get the MVP on the side of Girl for that game. And
Yeah, to be honest, I think both teams, it's kind of quite obvious of who the MVPs are.
Yeah, I think so. And we'll leave it up to the chat to throw it in there, give out some MVPs. Yeah, I think overall overall, I don't know if there's too much that can be taken from that game. Um, some, I think the game was pretty much just decided by some very early blitzcrank hooks, which was, yeah, sometimes that happens. There's not too much that you can do about it, really. Um, we do have some more games left this week. We potentially have GOTR versus the Wakandan Avengers. Wakandan Avengers have forfeited 2 games for not showing up. We'll see if that happens again. If that does happen again, they are out of the league. And then we do also have the River bracket with their final game to see who would take the top spot in the River bracket and be moving up next season, should they enter again, into the Ocean bracket. And so we might have a new team entering here. Next season, we are also expecting to have WR World Regenesis to be joining. And it is worth noting that they did have a scrim against Girl, which they won 2-1. So we're going to have 2 very strong teams in the league. And yeah, I think there's not too much that can be said about that second game. I think the first game, oof, that was a game. That was a really good game, the first game.
Mm.
I think that's one to focus on, especially if you are the side of SAS. The second game was just a sort of, those happen sometimes. But yeah. So thank you to all the teams for coming to play. Thanks to Oldie for coming and casting both of these games. And
No worries, it's been a pleasure.
a pleasure indeed. Thanks for everyone who came to watch the games. Hopefully you enjoyed them. If you want to know more about the league and you have not joined yet, we have a Discord. I have thrown it into the chat. Come and join. This is not the usual place we stream it. I am basically backup for when Mia is not here because she has more stuff better set up and everything. Brain not working, very tired. So thanks everyone for coming to watch, and we will see you again, I believe, Sunday, unless someone changes their games to be earlier. See ya.